Hello and welcome to a new tutorial on Paperwork. I'm Tom Passmore, the CIO and co-founder of Disposal, and today we're going to go through adding suppliers onto Paperwork. When we added customers in the other tutorials, we had to made up some customers. With suppliers, it's harder to do to make up waste management companies because of the way the system works, and I'll kind of show you this as we go through. But we'll go through and we'll add a supplier into the system. So it's very similar to customers if you've watched that tutorial, but I'll go through it like you haven't. So we'll just go through this one by one, and we'll add the information as we go down. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a logo here. So the best way to add a logo is by making a square image that's about 400 by 400 pixels, and we like to upload PNGs because they're nice and light. So this one's 19.4 kilobytes. So what we're going to do is there's a toggle here which is approved supplier. So you may or may not have a process inside your organization for approving suppliers. The system only allows you to choose approved suppliers when it comes to making jobs. So what we're going to do is just kind of mark that as approved straight away, so that there's no issue with selecting the supplier. And now we're going to kind of go down to the next bit. So this is status. So we've got 4 statuses here: active, on stop, archived, and deleted. We're setting them up, so we'll just kind of set it to active. So next we're going to enter the name. So this is Environmental Services Chesterfield, LTD. Let's not put the LTD. And they've got registration number. So this registration number, this would be a unique tax reference code from HMRC, or it could be a company's house number, or it could be a charities commission. In this example, it is a company's house number. So what we do is we actually have this again, because this is because of the compliance baked into Paperwork, we have to use an actual waste management company. So this is them. We have an account code set up for ESC. ESC 001, so Environmental Services Chesterfield, which is 001. They are a waste management company, so they have a SIC code of this one here, so 38110. You can also just type in here non-hazardous, collection of non-hazardous waste. Oh, there's no S. That's why that's what it was. So this was this one here, collection of non-hazardous waste, and the VAT number. I actually don't know their VAT number, but I'll leave that as it is. Next, we have a contact number. We don't need to fill these in because they are optional. So phone number, fax number, and email address. But I do know their location, so I'll add this in here. So let's put in a postcode, and I'll find the address. And we'll find environmental services here. Kind of just as a tip here, what we do is we don't like to have the name of the organisation on address line 1. So if we delete that out and then just move this up, address line 1 here. There's just some places where address line 1 is put onto the paperwork alongside name, so then you end up having name and address line 1 next to each other, which might be environmental services next to environmental services, which isn't a good look. So we'll click add on there. So what this does is it sets up an organisation which is Environmental Services Chesterfield. Organisations aren't kind of sites themselves, they aren't physical location, they are buckets that information gets put into within the system. So what we have to do is we have to create an organisation, and then we create a site underneath it here. So what we have to do is go through that process again for the physical location. So again, I'm going to bring in their logo here. I'm going to mark this site as being approved. Again, the status is the same, and we're going to put Environmental Services Chesterfield there, and registration number, which we have here. Account number, so this was our account number here. SIC code, which was our 38110, collection of hazardous waste, VAT number unknown, recycling percentage. I'm going to come back to this in a second if that's okay. And then we've got phone number, fax number, email address. Again, don't need to put those in, but what we do want to put in is a postcode. Their site, I'm going to find that, and again, environmental services in Brimington Road. So like we did last time, we're going to get this address line 2, and fix it into address line 1. And then we're actually going to move this pin to the actual location. So what I'm going to do is press this button here, which is going to toggle the full screen view. I'll zoom in a wee bit, switch to satellite, because actually I know that this building here is where Environmental Services Chesterfield is. So I'm going to move that pin to there. Okay, now I'm going to add them there. So now we have set up a supplier. So we have Environmental Services Chesterfield that has been approved. And then what we can do is we can get more information about them by clicking on these buttons here, go into Summary, and then scroll down and we can see more information about Environmental Services Chesterfield. Okay, so now that we're in a site, there is a number of things I kind of want to show you in addition. So one of the things is this idea of rates. So rates are the kind of the costs that they have given you as one of your suppliers. I'll go through these in another time. I just kind of show you what these are. So what you can do is you can set up rate cards, set it to specific sites, set your contacts up, upload information, and then you can actually work through all of the information, so be it a waste line or an extra line, and then you can use those within your sales and your jobs. Again, I just want to kind of briefly show you this now, but I'll come back to it later in another tutorial. And another site, another side of this that I will show you now, is if we go into a site here. So we're now at the site level. What we need to do is we actually need to add site licenses. So like I said before, compliance is baked into Paperwork. And as part of that, we need to actually say that this waste management company here that we're going to use as carriers or disposal sites, they actually need to have an active license. So I'll show you how to do that. So thankfully, Environmental Services Chesterfield have two licenses, well, two types of license. They have a carrier broker dealer's license and an exemption. So what we can do is we can put their carrier dealer broker license in here. So what we can do is we can search by license. This actually talks to the Environment Agency API. So we get the information from the Environment Agency. So we can see that it's the same site and we can click on that. Then it pulls all the information through about environmental services. Okay, so let's add that one there. So we can see we've got all of the information here. And if we go back to licenses, we can see it's a carrier dealer broker up here. So very quick to add these in. And that means that now it's got a carrier broker dealer license at that upper tier level, you can actually add them as a carrier within your sales and within your jobs. We're now also going to add their exemption certificate, which allows them to store waste in secure containers at their site under an S1. So we can bring that information through. So again, this is their exemption, pulled all the information through, and then we're going to add that in there. So you can see that Environmental Services actually have a carrier dealer broker license and a waste exemption. Waste exemptions, the expiry date hasn't come through just because of the way that it's structured within the Environment Agency, whereas the carrier broker dealer license has come through there, and you can see it expires in 2024. Excellent. So now that you've added those two kinds of regulated documents on there, we can actually do another thing. So we can add site contacts, which again, I'll show you through how to do that in a later video. But we've also got this idea of waste fates. So within waste fates, we are able to add different types of what happens to the fates that are within that end up with environmental services. So these are all against your internal waste types. So waste types is within the references section. So we'll go to that in a minute. So we've got only one waste type here, which is mineral oils. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually close that because we want to add other waste types, and I'll show you how to do that now. So we will go to settings, we'll go down to references, and in the references section we're going to type in waste types. Waste types is here. We're going to view this, get some more information about it. So we can see we've had mineral oils in there already. Waste that would be classed as mineral oil, so this is one we've added in the past. And I know from experience that I also want a sewerage waste type. So wastes that are from cesspits and sewerage systems. Because this is the kind of waste that ESC will do for you, as well as mineral oils and some other industrial cleaning. So now if we head back to suppliers, find environmental services Chesterfield, what we're going to do is click on view, click on sites to find their site, go into environmental Chesterfield's, their actual site, and then click on waste fates. So waste fates, we're going to select both of these, mineral oils and sewerage. Add selected. These add them to the table. So as it currently is set, when it first gets set up, all of these get treated as 0. So what we know is actually the sewerage is 100% recycled. So we can double click on that. And from information from, didn't click off properly. From information that we got from ESC, 99% of the mineral oils are recycled as well, with 1% going to treatment. So there's a couple of things I want to show you on this page. So first of all, you've got your waste types down the left-hand side here that you can add more waste types as you go. Then you've got these sections broken down into both recovery and disposal. So we've got 2 recovery types. One is recycling, one is energy from waste. So when these get added up, all of anything that's kind of classed as mineral oil, 99% will be recovery. And then in the disposal side, we've got incineration, treatment, hazardous landfill, non-hazardous landfill. So what we know is, for example, the mineral oils is 99% recycling, which is 99% recovery, then it's 1% treatment, so it's 1% disposal. Whereas sewerage is 100% recycling, therefore 100% recovery with no disposal from that. This is important because when it comes to some of the reporting that we can pull out of the system, those recovery and disposal elements will be populated alongside the waste types. So this is at the site level. And also what we can do is we can actually pull out the information around the returns that they should be receiving. So we've got a lot of information here, and we can populate, as we use the system more, those returns will be shown in here. So just kind of work back up the chain. So we're in the site details, the information there, back into the information using the breadcrumb here to move back up. This is the information about the actual organization and the sites. And then we can go into suppliers and see that we've got our 4 suppliers here, some with registration numbers, some have approved, some not. We'll then kind of carry on using these suppliers within the system, within sales and jobs, but that'll be in later tutorials. That's the end of today's session. So if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the chat. But thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you at the next video.